Hey guys, we're back again. I'm here with another video for you guys. I have a special guest that's really special because, to be honest with you, this is the time where it's like, this is the kind of guest that knew me before any guest knew me. Like, seriously, like, I grew up in church, and we grew up in church together. She was, older than me. She's always been, that big sis vibe, like a very inspirational, motivational person. Like, she's always showed me love, genuine, real love. She's just always been that type of person where if you're already in church and you have an admirer, like, I don't mean to drag it, but let me welcome my guest, Christine. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Christine. And yeah, thank you, sweetheart. That like really like I don't want to get teary eyed because
for real?
Yeah, because I'm a car makeup artist and it took me like 10 minutes to do this, so I can't be doing all those things.
What?
But I appreciate
What makes you feel so emotional?
Just being around good people, good vibes. I'm in a good space, a good headspace. But to be honest with you, I wanted to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here with you. You know, you're my baby doll, and I love you very much. And
love you too.
when you get the call, it's like, when you call, it's like, all right, no problem. I'll do anything for you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I believe in what you're doing right now. So it's like, I just want to push and be of help wherever I can be. And just let's get this thing going.
Thank you so much.
Welcome,
like,
Mama.
it's so crazy because we don't often, like, get to be around each other because, like, church was really what, like, solidified me knowing you, growing up with you and everything because of, how regularly I was there.
Right.
I was there clearly for the Sunday segment. Sometimes I was there most of the times I would be there before the service started because you know how it goes,
Sunday
praise and
school,
worship and everything like that. And then, I'd be part of the praise
There
and
you
worship. We would do dances. We
Mhm.
definitely had, the choir rehearsal. I would go to different churches. Like, I wasn't just going to the church service. I was going to the after church service. Okay, baby?
And the after church.
And the after church. And, like, listen, I was at church.
The Holy Ghost party.
Yes, like, it was, ain't no party like a Holy Ghost party because the Holy Ghost party don't
stop.
Okay? Like, we was turned, like, I loved church. Like,
Yeah.
I really did. I loved what I was being taught. I believed in what I was taught. There's something I'm definitely gonna bring up. As far as when it goes to church, it's a very positive thing, but it changed my entire life.
Absolutely.
It changed my entire life. But let's just focus on you for the main part. Like, so tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, because right now I know, like, you're an evangelist, or
Yes, I am.
so she's here as, what do you call yourself nowadays?
Christine.
No, like
Christine.
All right, so tell them.
You know what it is? I think, honestly, I'm blessed to have the advantage to become an evangelist. I'll be honest with you. It's not something that comes easy at all. So oftentimes I'm humble by it because for God to see something within me and to know my destiny before I even knew, that's a blessing in itself. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy. I ran from it for years.
Oh, God, I know that.
When I say years, but God has a way of doing things because he won't allow you to get rest either. There's a calling on your life, and that's what's important. I've been going to church there since 6 years old,
And you
right?
didn't stop, right?
No, I did. We're going to get into
Okay,
that.
okay.
I did.
Okay.
And it wasn't the best time within my life when I did because that was a time where I needed to be there the most.
Most, of course.
But nonetheless, I said I thank God for the story of the prodigal son, and I'm the prodigal daughter. So I thank him for just having grace upon my life, for giving me mercy. I said God was still there with me even when I didn't want to talk to him. And that's a blessing because in my own foolishness, he still kept his hand on me.
Of course.
And I'm grateful for that because I said I could have been dead. I could have been gone. I could have been up out of here, but yet he still thought enough of me to wake me up every day.
That's
So
the
for
love of a
that, I'm
father.
grateful. Absolutely. That's
I'm
what a
gonna
father
love
does.
you no matter what. I'm a baby. You my baby.
Yeah.
Like,
But nonetheless, I'm Christine. I'm Christine. I'm the mom. I'm the friend. I'm the daughter, the sister.
so tell us a
just
little
me.
bit about how you grew up. Like, clearly we went to church. But tell us about, like, your upbringing. Like, what's your perspective on how you grew up?
So my upbringing was unique to say the least, I should say. So my mother had me at a young age, 15 years old, teenager. And, at that time, she didn't
Are you
really
her
know what to do.
firstborn,
I'm
or?
her firstborn.
Oh, wow.
I'm the firstborn out of 6. Yeah,
You lying.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
First one out of 6.
Continue.
So she was 15 years old, a little troubled, I say, to say the least. But nonetheless, at the age of 2, that's when my aunt took legal custody of me. And we've been stuck together ever since.
Oh, okay.
I used to, it was different because growing up in a household where you don't have your mother, you don't have your father. I didn't really know my dad. I knew my dad up until the age of maybe 5 years old. And then after that, he was like a ghost. I didn't see him.
To this day.
Well, actually, we wound up reconnecting in life at the age of 19, but then 3 months later, he passed away. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's good because I was able to make peace.
Aww.
And I was happy that he was able to make peace with what it is that he felt he lacked as far as being a father, being a man in my life.
Wow.
But I'm grateful because
he was young too?
He was young too.
Okay.
He was all of maybe 16, 17 years old. So
around
they're both in the
age.
same boat doing silly things but got a perfect result.
Right. Aww.
So it's cool.
Gotta make no mistake now.
Yeah, not at all. He knew what he was doing. But I used to get upset with my mother, actually. And for the longest, even up into my adult years, I actually had this hatred for her, this resentment. I was upset. I was angry because it was almost like abandonment issues. Like, how could you leave me? How could you choose other things over me? How could you choose an addiction? And I didn't realize at that point that addiction is a disease. You know what I mean? So with that, you can't even fault the person because they're dealing and battling with a disease that is uncontrollable. Until you do want to be, you want to receive that help and you actually want to better yourself. So just to go back into it, yes, my aunt took me on at 2 years old, took legal custody of me, and raised me like her own. I was blessed to be in that household where I had my grandparents there, which was really nice. And then my cousins were born. So I had...
So you still had family.
Yeah, I still had family. Okay. And you know what? It took me up until maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I went on a women's retreat and I told my mother right there, I didn't even need an audience, but I told her, I said, Mommy, I forgive you because what you did was the greatest act of love, that you didn't just leave me out there. You didn't turn tricks and sell me off or anything else. You loved me enough to put me in loving hands.
Yes.
You left me with my aunt. You left me with my grandparents to where I could be raised right because you knew what you were incapable of doing. So to me, that's true love right there. So I said, I'm not hurt by it anymore. If anything, I thank you for what you did because that's a hard sacrifice to make, to put your baby girl, your firstborn, into someone else's hand, but to trust your sister enough to know she's going to love you just like her. So
she carried you for that 9 months, right? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, she went that far and, I feel like there's no perfect parent. Like, life is gonna happen and sometimes you can't plan the things that happen during your life. You can only control what you can control. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Some things are out of your control. And what do you do in your life when things are out of your control? Like, do you choose your faith? How do you react?
I think now more than ever, especially all that I've gone through in the last couple of years, it helped me to just realize I need God more than anything. I need God more than anything, truly, because that's my source. That's my strength. I depended on people trying to get advice or help me out with this or lead me to this place or that place or give me direction in life. I depended on other situations, say, oh, my situation is that bad, and doing comparisons. And I say, you know what? I have no peace. And that was the problem because I'm depending on people to give me gratification, to make me feel better. And I'm like, honestly, it just goes back to praying. And you got to be sincere. That's the biggest thing because for a long time I said I didn't receive my healing until I actually showed up and not this facade of who I wanted to be, but letting God bless exactly who I am. Because for too long I'm putting on a face just to please everyone else. God can't bless who you pretend to be. And even now I said I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress, but I thank God that he's able to see past that. He sees my need rather than my fault. So prayer.
So to be honest with you, I really want to know this question because this is something I wanted to talk about when it came to St. John's Baptist Church of Lakeview.
Okay.
I'm gonna get into the positive. Don't worry, guys.
Okay. I'm like, where we going?
So clearly, like I said, when I came back from Jamaica after 2 years of living there, and my mom, she had her first house. This was the first house, and it's crazy that a church was right in front of the house, okay? And I'm already coming from Jamaica where we're literally having church during school. You know what I'm saying? Like, our motto at school was Ora et Labora, which meant work and pray. So I was doing devotion, like, during school. We was praying in the morning, praying before we ate, praying before we left. Like, I'm talking about for real.
Instilled in you.
So it was like church every day.
Yeah.
Like, it was the same. Jamaica's big on God. Jamaica's big on, the
Jehovah.
higher power. Yes, like so I say all that to say, so basically when I was there, to make a long story short, I remember being baptized with You know, my best friend at the time, Letitia, who's passed away,
Rest in peace.
who was a lot of time when I, you know, probably went to sleep or whatever it was my encouragement to come through. Like, Roxanne, we go to church. Like, you know what I mean?
He
So
was faithfully there.
right, like
Yes.
we come. Like, I'm gonna be late, but I'm coming.
But I'm coming.
But I'm coming. So yeah, you know, we went to, you know, when you're about to be baptized, we did the classes there at St. John's Baptist Church, and I remember they said to us, like, you know, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And of course, in my mind, I'm a visual learner. You saying something to me, I promise you, I'm like, I'm seeing what you're saying without you knowing. Like, I'm seeing, I'm picturing it out. So I'm like, all right, so he created the heavens and the earth, and I'm picturing a man doing this. I'm like, all right, there's a man who's creating. Then I'm like, all right, if he's creating, where he came from?
Right.
Like, because if we came from our mothers and fathers, and so he got a mother and father, and where did this all start? It's like, is he a human or not? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm like, ain't nobody else hand up, baby.
Question.
Who created God?
Right.
And it was just like, you know, they answered, you know. It was like, you know, God is a supreme being. You know, he's the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the I am. And to be honest with you, I wasn't satisfied with that because it wasn't helping me figure out if this thing in that time, in that mind frame, just started creating out of nowhere. Where did you appear from? Like, I really wanted to know.
Right.
When I went home that same day, I got on my knees.
Yeah.
And I said, God, I know we're not supposed to question you.
Right.
But can you please just show me who you are? Like, I just want to understand. Like, can you please, like, just show me, baby? The most powerful prayer I could have ever prayed in my life, the prayer that I didn't know would whoosh. Oh, he heard me.
Oh, absolutely.
Loud and clear. And he showed me very vividly.
Yeah.
And he ain't stopped.
There you go.
Okay, so me going through that experience, you know, I'm gonna move on to you.
No, it's fine. It's all.
Me.
I love this.
No, because he really showed me who he
awakened
was.
something
Yes,
within
like
you.
what?
He gave you an understanding.
Like, when I say my life became more spiritual than ever, like, it's just like my life wasn't regular anymore. Like, it was just, I was just living a spiritual life. Like, I was seeing the unseen. I was hearing what couldn't be heard before.
Yeah.
Like, I was experiencing things where I was like, whoa, the sermon is coming through. Like, the strength is coming through.
Because you were open
the
and receptive.
faith is, yes.
Yeah.
I believed. I believed. This is how I was already raised. I believed.
Absolutely.
So when I said what I said, I meant it with every fiber in my being. And I didn't.
Wholeheartedly.
I was like, can you show me?
Yeah.
like, can you?
Let me get a little peek.
And baby, the dreams, oh my God, the dreams were so vivid. They started coming true. And fast forward, I ended up running to the church.
Yeah.
I ended up running to the church, running to Reverend Thomas. I ended up running to her, and I was like, my dreams is coming true. We got to figure this out because I feel crazy. I literally came to her bawling, Christine. I came to her bawling, and then here came Reverend Sheila Thomas, her daughter. And she's like, oh, it's time. And I'm like, tears in my eyes, like, it's time.
Time for what?
Time for what? What's going on? What y'all knew? She was like, I always told you was different. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm just thinking different like you're smart. Because I already got that. I already got those, you know what I'm trying to say, the little high honor roll, different classes, skipping.
There.
Yeah, like I knew, and I was never really, like I was always pretty chill, and I wanted to be normal for the longest. Like, I didn't want to be,
What's
you know?
normal?
Listen,
We're peculiar
I just
people.
felt like, when I say normal, it was like, I understood and knew the fact that, like, you're above average. I knew it before I even got skipped because of the like, how they treated me, what they said to me, what they said to my parents, what they wrote on my report cards. It was just like, but this is all I knew. Like, it wasn't like I'm trying to do something. This is really all it. And then I'm the only child from my mother. So it's like there was a real, like, focus. My mother wasn't the outside type of party type of, she was inside. So I didn't know I was sheltered till I was 24. So it's just a lot. I don't want to talk too much on me.
No, that's good.
I just wanted to explain to you and pretty much get to the fact, like, who is God to you? When did you truly know God? When did you really get that true connection where you're like, nah, there's no way, it's nothing else. Like, I heard it, I seen it, whatever it is. Can you talk to me about that
I
experience?
will honestly say it started at a young age, 6 years old.
Mm.
And they still tell the story to this day. Reverend Thomas teases all the time. And she
Let me
says,
hear it.
the only young lady, 6 years old, every time they open the doors of the church, Christine's running up there to go get baptized. And they would tell me, no, baby, you're too young. You got to ask your parent. But at that time, my aunt wasn't ready to go to the church. Her whole thing was, you can't get baptized because if you get baptized, now I got to go to church. And I don't want to go right now. And I said, but I love God. And I just knew at that point that I was different. I was unique in some type of way. I remember having the youth groups at night that Reverend Sheila would do. And I remember we had to say, who did we think that other person was, like a representation in the Bible. And I'll never forget that someone said to me, Elizabeth. And I'm like, Elizabeth? Now, mind you, I'm 13, 14 years old. And I said, wasn't that the woman that was pregnant?
Aww.
And I'm like, Sarah or one of them. And I said, well, why would you put that on me? And they said, because there's something that's going to birth out of you. There's something in your belly.
Who said this? Reverend Thomas?
Come on now.
Because Reverend Thomas be on point, okay, y'all? She know what's going on, baby. She knows what's going on.
There's something within you. There's something that you're going to birth. And I just couldn't understand. And I'm thinking birth. I'm like, oh, no, you're not going to put that on me. Tell my mother these things about me. I'm going to get in trouble. But it was bigger than me. So I can honestly say it was more in my teenage years where that anxiousness, that eagerness, wanted to run to the house of God. It helped that we had friends in there. So it's like we're all on the same page, which made it easier. Because
I didn't know nothing outside of that. Like I did not know the world, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did not.
Be grateful. Be grateful.
No,
because
that's a blessing and a
look
curse.
at us now.
But it's a blessing and a curse, baby.
Is.
Because when I went into the world, baby.
Well, that's a different situation.
Ooh,
but you know what?
baby.
Free will, because now we want to experience things on our own because we felt like we were sheltered.
See?
Not knowing now at this age we're a little bit wiser. So realistically,
We
we're not moving
are.
on. You're not missing out on nothing.
It's crazy. Then it's like when you reflect on what you did in the world, it's like none of it was worth it.
At all.
I mean, okay, you got the memories, but what was it worth, and what do you really bring with today besides memories? You know what I'm trying to say? To be honest, just to touch on what I already said, just to, bounce back and forth a little bit. When I went to Reverend Thomas and I said to her, I feel crazy, my dreams is coming true. Like, I'm telling you, like, the dreams is going from, like, it's coming true the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next minute, the next, like, it's coming true as vividly as I saw it. Like, and things are really happening. And it's coming to the point where my friends is telling me, Roxanne, didn't you just tell me you had a dream about that? Like, it's being brought to my attention. He's using other people to, like, I'm like, oh, nah. I prayed that prayer and he did not play. Like, he's like, oh, yeah? That's what you want to ask for? That's what you want to get. So when I went to her crying, she was like, you're a prophet of God. I said, wait a minute. Prophet of God, me? Yeah. She was like, why not you? These are the words straight out her mouth. She ever watched this? I'm telling God honest truth.
True. That is so true. And that's the thing. You tapped into your gift. But the thing is that a lot of us tap into our gifts. Some of us know our gifts, but we're not ready to receive it.
I wasn't. I said,
nope.
A prophet of God. In my mind, I'm like, that's perfection. That's this, that's that. I didn't even experience life yet to be no prophet. I'm like, that's why I said, why me? And that's why she said, why not you? Because I don't know what her vision was of me or who I was or what she experienced. All I know is I'm being me. So then it clicked. The light bulb clicked, and I'm like, I am a good person. I am very, like, genuine. I am, like, I don't wish people harm. I don't want bad.
Right.
I'm like, I got a pure heart. Why wouldn't he use me? Like, everything started downloading into me at that very moment when she said it, and I was just like, I'm receiving it, and I'm like, then here came the rebellion. I'm not ready for that.
Because you're not ready.
I'm not, like.
But do you think God would have equipped you and gave you all those dreams and those visions and everything? But see, you're a vessel. We're all vessels. I know, and you don't want to accept it.
I didn't want to.
Me neither.
I'm getting there. I'm starting to. I feel like I'm starting to.
You're a little bit more receptive. You know what it is too, because when we go through experiences, that's when it's just like, you know what, Lord, I know I need you more than anything. God, you are more than anything. You show me too much. You love me too much. He won't let you rest. No. It's one of those things. Say yes to your will, to your way. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I knew since.
Say yes, Lord, yes. To your will and to your way.
There she
Anyway.
Church break. But no, honestly, like, I didn't accept ministry until 2021. And at that time, my life I was feeling good. I felt complete. I felt like I was doing all the right things.
This is before or after the baby?
This is after the baby. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my little baby. You know, I just had.
Your only.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you just.
No, girl, I just keep telling that lie just when I don't want to lose weight.
Yo, you scared me. I'm like, what? So you feel like you just want an only child? Like that's it? That's it for you? Or
I would love one more.
Okay.
One more. It's different. Like I want to have just one more, just to have that experience. Becoming a mother was like one of the best things in the world. I had a beautiful pregnancy. I was very happy. I didn't bother anybody. I just
that's amazing.
Just give me what I need, and that's just about it. But it's very rewarding. But it was like just going back to it. Like I felt like I had it all together at that time. Like I needed to do this, and it was just burning. It was a sensation within me. I remember. Reverend Enoch had said to me one point. I had went to him after church, and I'll never forget. I said, I don't know, it's something within me. He said, it's like Jeremiah. He said, it's like fire shut up in your bones. And I'm like, yes, it's like this desire, this urge. It's like this, I have to do it.
Yes,
I have to get this out.
Feel it.
You do. And it's not, and the thing is that I love what I do when I have the opportunities to do a platform. I love it when I'm able to go ahead and speak and encourage other people because I want to make sure that somebody else feels good. I want to share my story with somebody else because you don't know how that's going to deliver them. Have I been as active as I should be? No, I have not. But that goes into a whole nother story of what I went through within the past year and a half, 2 years, where I've shied away from God, but God didn't leave me. And it's important that when you recognize that and you see your faults, it's like, I got to get back on track. You're running away from something that's bigger than you. God is omnipresent. There's nowhere that I can run.
Can you explain omnipresent?
Omnipresent. He's everywhere. Clearly, he's everywhere. He sees everything.
Listen, when they was telling me that when I got when the baptism was coming and they was preparing me for that, and I said, who is God? That's another thing that she said as well. Like he's omnipresent. He's here, there, and everywhere. And I'm still trying to visually picture. I'm like, how is this man everywhere? Because clearly I'm picturing it as a man. That was my struggle.
Right.
And I feel like that's why he knew. I mean, like, you're seeking me. Like, you want to know me. You want to understand for real. Man, listen, God is good. God is real.
Truly.
God is real.
I mean, we done been through some experiences where we know God is real.
You got to tell me something.
Come on. What's the song? Cover Me. I could have lost my mind. Wanted to give her so many times, but God was my anchor. Aww. A consistent way maker. I say that because I'm like, he kept me. Even when I didn't want to be kept. Like, it makes me a little emotional, but truly.
Woo!
Yeah.
He kept me so I wouldn't let go. What?
Go. Yeah.
So I'm here today because God kept me. What? I'm alive today because of his grace. I'm not going to sing for y'all.
And you got me. I'm not going to tear up today. And I'm sure enough not in choir rehearsal. I don't remember the last time I sang, but
it's
God
real.
is good.
It's real. I know too many songs.
Man, listen, it's embedded within us. And that's why I'm saying, like, he's not looking for perfect people, but he wants people that are willing, that want to work, that are able. It's time out for doing everything traditional and just saying, oh, well, business as usual. That's something that Pastor always says all the time, and that'll always stick with me. You can't always do business as usual and just be complacent and thinking that's enough, because when you think it's enough, that's not good enough. You need to do more. There's people out there that are starving. There's people out there that are going through. They're losing their minds mentally. I've never seen so many people that are on medication that are our age, and I'm like, what is going on? They're lost. They're believing all this nonsense that they see on social media, being influenced by fake things and facades. And I'm like, that's not real life. And you wonder why you have no joy, why you have no peace in your life. I'm not saying that because I'm perfect, but I've been through some things enough to know well enough that, listen, that what you're doing right there is not going to get you anywhere. It's going to lead to destruction. I lost one of my closest friends at 30 years old because they were out there chasing the quote-unquote bag and running behind this one and that one.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
30 years
like I
old.
said, I lost my best friend before the age of 21, and you experienced, that time with me. Like you were there, you understand, like you saw it.
Yeah. So
what was that like for you?
It was hard. It was hard to know somebody since kindergarten, 5 years old. Yep, 5 years old, and to be there for when she was scared. I remember she got pregnant at 15 years old and was scared to tell her parents, her grandparents and stuff, and we were there. I remember We didn't have but so much money. We wasn't really working after school jobs, but we put together a little mock baby shower in the living room. It wasn't but 5 of us there, but we did it. Just and then even with that, you know, you growing up, you have your little clique and friends, and sometimes you know you move on, but you never lose the love. You know,
what happened? Why did
everybody just went this.
Why did you say like you know she passed away from?
She had passed when she became ill. She became ill and she passed early. Sometimes it's the old saying of when you live fast, you die young.
You feel like she was living fast.
A little too fast.
Like
a little too fast.
What was fast? Like you talking about drugs? You talking about like
just involved with the wrong people. Chasing after a dream that led to nothing, dead ends. It's just one of those things that you have to love yourself.
Yes.
When you love yourself, you're not looking for validation amongst other people.
Right.
Especially us as women, we're not looking for validation amongst men.
Right.
To tell us who we are, to make us feel beautiful.
Right.
I don't want to love where I got to compromise myself. I don't want to love where I have to compromise my beliefs, and I don't want to come secondary, third, or fourth on your list. If I'm going to be your one, I'm going to be your only one. There's nothing behind me.
Tell him!
Yes, listen. Tell him! I'm not playing that game. So, you know, with that, that's what happens, unfortunately. And beautiful person, beautiful soul, miss her dearly. And it's sad because it said even when it comes to death, sometimes it's like you know the realization that the individual is gone. They're not here physically, but it's just more so accepting it. You know, I finally had that cry, like even at the funeral I would cry, but it was like it just hurt one day. One day it hurt, and it came to the realization like she's not coming back. So then it makes you kind of reevaluate yourself, like what am I living for? What is my purpose? What am I doing with myself? You know, and it was sad because I also remember she did try to turn herself around, and she was a couple of months away from her wedding. Heartbreaking.
Oh, girl. Yeah. Listen, I want to know.
But not too much of my story to tell, just touching upon it.
No, I get you. Yeah. I get you. I really, truly want to know, like, have you ever heard God's voice? Like, you know, like, your relationship with God, like, what is that like? How did it start? Like, what's your true, genuine, authentic relationship with God? Like, and how do you know that it's God? Like, what is your personal story where you feel like, oh my God, this was God? It can't be no other. Wow. It has to be God, because those type of moments I feel like they're unforgettable. When the Holy Spirit comes over you and He does some stuff, you're like, there's no way. It's nothing else but God. So
I got a couple of things. I'll say this where God used me more so, and I knew it was Him speaking. I worked for Ralph Lauren for 11 years, right?
I remember that.
Yeah, those are the good days, good discounts.
Yeah.
So when they did a massive layoff, they gave me opportunity to stay. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. In that moment, I heard God. And when I say that, and that gets me to where I'm going with this, because they said, oh, we're going to give you a specialist position, and you're going to have the same pay and everything. Don't worry about it, same hours, all that. And I'm looking like, nah, because we had discussions already about what y'all are about the clothes and stuff. Y'all not going to put me out there. And I promise you, all I heard was greater. Ooh. And I said, you know what? I'm walking out of this job that I've been with for 11 years. I don't know where my next dime is going to come from, but God said greater. And I walked outside. I remember calling my aunt, crying on the phone, devastated. And I went back up to HR and told them I'm not doing it no more. And I'm grateful that I didn't take that position on, because it led me to somewhere I needed to be. I remember I said, okay, I'm getting a severance package. This is good. It's going to hold me over for a while. I'm getting unemployment. This is cool. But now the money is getting a little low. And I'm like, I got to get back to a career, do something with myself. So I said, in between, while I'm waiting for the hospital, because I applied at that time for an IT position, I was waiting, and I started doing Lyft. And I knew this was God on that day. I had a pickup that happened at Nassau Community College right there in Garden City. Young girl gets in the car. We're just talking. I was always friendly with my passengers. I like talking to people.
Right.
So, I love talking to people. That's my thing. So, very nice young
very
lady.
Sweet. So, it's a good thing.
I try to be. I said, I'm nice. I'm not always too friendly, but I'm nice. Nah. So, I was talking to this young lady, and she just started going into how sad she was, how her mother passed away. And I felt like at that moment I was ministering to her, which made me feel good too, that God was able to use me. And before she got out the car, my right hand to God, she said to me, I'm going home. She said, it's just me and my dad that lives here now. She said, I'm going to be honest with you. With tears in her eyes, she was sitting in the back seat. She said, I was thinking about killing myself.
I've been there before. I've been there before. I've been there before.
She said, I was thinking about killing myself.
I feel it. I've been there before too. Like, I know what it's like. Trust me. I feel very selfish too, because there's so many times I was like, nah, just take me. Like, I remember the first time I said it, it was just like, because I remember the first time I said it is because I didn't want to sin. Yeah. I was terrified of hell. So I was like, no. I know I'm good. Yeah. So just take me now. Like, we good. Just
take me now.
Whatever you be doing, just take me now. Don't let me sin. Don't let me do all of this, and then I gotta worry about. Oh no. But continue.
Yeah, she said to me, she said, I was contemplating suicide. I was gonna kill myself. And it shocked me. I just was in my car and I'm just looking like, there's no way this is happening. And she said, but I thank you for your conversation. She said, thank you so much for the encouragement. I feel so much better. I don't know who you are, but thank you. And I said, God bless you, sweetie. Know that you're loved. I said, God loves you. That's important. I said, I don't know what religion you are, but I know God to be God in every religion. And I know that he loves you. And I said, so if you don't take nothing else, take that. And I remember her reaching over from the back of the back seat, gave me a hug, and I just sat there in silence for a second. And I remember at that point was when I was like, I gotta follow my calling. It's time for ministry. I didn't want to.
So in your mind, like, your thoughts just told you that, like, you just like
that was God when. See, sometimes I think we think because we're using our natural sense, like, oh, it's by coincidence. Oh my gosh,
coincidence doesn't exist.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
Already orchestrated. Yeah, everything that's done in life is orchestrated.
It was like, it's happening.
Already written.
Yes, that was it.
Even this conversation is written.
No such thing as a coincidence.
Oh, I was at the right time.
It's already
what they say, the right place at the right time.
I was at the right place at the right. I mean,
you were
I feel like it's different ways to try to say the same thing. But I promise you guys, one thing I've learned is, personally, let me just speak on myself, time is an illusion.
There you go.
And coincidence does not exist. Because my personal experience, like I said, has been more spiritual than anything. So sometimes I'm not even here. Like, I'm not here. Because I'm so...
Yeah, engulfed in him. Isn't that dope, though? Have you ever laid down in your bed and you just been hurt by things, right? And you're just like, I can't take no more. I remember my go-to song was Smokey Norfolk, Lord, I Need You Now. After I done chased everything in the world that I thought I wanted, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to see, who I wanted to be, like, Lord, I need you now. And with tears in your eyes, because your head is all the way back, and tears are just running in your ears, and on your neck, and, through the beady beats.
Yes.
And you're just sitting there crying. And crying out to God. But then you get this feeling. It's like you're on a whole different trajectory and you just feel light.
Listen.
It's almost like you're levitating. You feel good because it's a release that comes from that. And that's why I said, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you feel like, well, I did too much that he's not going to forgive. There's nothing too hard for God. There's no sin with the exception of suicide and blasphemy. Let me make that very clear, that God cannot forgive.
Blasphemy, explain.
Blasphemy is cursing God. Let's just
and
be sure.
how
cursing God, condemning his name, condemning and saying
what? Tell him.
I ain't gonna say that now.
No. Like
look
for
up
anybody
blasphemy.
who she said I ain't doing it. I'm not trying to give you no example.
You know what's so scary? I know exactly what it is. I'm so scared to even speak on it. Oh. I just suggest for no one to say. I remember.
What is it? No. What I'm trying to say is is it trying to say like there is no God? Like is it those kind of things that you don't want to come from your mouth? Because I mean, he knows what's going on. He knows we're trying to
absolutely.
Yeah, like he knows what we're trying to get out and like pretty much.
God knows when we're upset. And he knows when we say things, and it's just like, but be careful now. Don't get too much where you're angered.
Yeah,
it's one thing, but some people have said, I've been angry with God. That's not even really acceptable, but we're human, But to really curse God, basically, I don't mess with you, and then you really want to come disrespectful. Let's put it like that for the layman terms for people. And that don't work out too good. If you want the full definition of blasphemy, don't just go by me. Look it up for yourself. It's in Webster's in the Bible. But those are the two things God don't forgive. So if there's anything that you feel is too hard for God, it's not. I don't want, when people say, well, I used to be on drugs. That's not too hard for God. I used to prostitute. That's not too hard for God. Like I used to be a cursor. I was an alcoholic. I was addicted. That's not too hard for God. Let me tell you something. God can use anything. My mother's a living testimony to things. My mother, I told you, 15 years old and had me. After that, she had my siblings and everything else. Her story is her own story. But let me tell you
She
something.
got up
She went
there in
from,
church and told us.
she'll tell you, and my mother, she's free with this.
Yes.
So it's okay if I speak on it.
Yes.
But that woman went from teenage pregnancy to feeling like she was nothing and being called by God to turn her into a business owner, a homeowner, and then she was blessed to become a minister.
Yes.
So don't tell me what God can't do.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
See, the problem is that sometimes we think that we have to have perfection in order to work in ministry or just be a child of God, not knowing that. Be careful who it is that you put your mouth on. Be careful who it is that you think that
He's
God can't
working
use.
through them
All of
to
us.
build that perfection. A lot of times, the mistakes and everything we make as humans, like God sees and already knows your heart, and He already knows who He's created you to be. Yes, you have free will, but there's something that He's already instilled in you. There's a seed already planted in you. There's a promise, like on your life already.
Absolutely.
And for me personally, I'm just like, it's so crazy to me. Like when I reflect, because, sometimes you just got to sit and reflect.
Absolutely.
And look back on your life, your mistakes, whatever, your happiness, whatever it is. When I reflect, I'm like, listen, hold on. Sometimes I got to sit in the car while I'm driving like, thank you, God, for keeping me. Thank you, God, for blessing me. Thank you, God, for saving me. Thank you, God, for making sure that, I got to and from my destination safely.
Right.
There's certain things that I feel like we take for granted. We think it's just... No. You don't know the time. You don't know the hour. You don't know when you could... Baby, you think you're powerful? A lot of people try to put on I am a God. Be careful.
Be careful. And that's another thing, too. You want to be idle?
Be careful.
I said, that's sinful right there, idolism.
You are made in His image.
You're not Him.
Be careful. There's only one.
Yeah, hello.
Be careful.
Hello. That part, that whole entire part right there. But no jokes aside, some people do.
Because they got the new age. You know what I'm trying to say?
They're too woke.
It's just manifestation, and it's just what's another one right now? Not just manifestation, but they're like, words of affirmation is like these things. I just feel like a lot of the times when you're just a spiritual person, you take God out of it, but God exists, baby.
Absolutely.
Like there really is a God.
Truly.
It's not just, you're not just spiritual, because where did the spirit come from, baby?
Yeah.
Like where did the spirit come from?
It came from somewhere.
It came from somewhere, and you got to go to the source, and the source is God. You got to know, like, talk to God, ask Him to show you, like, come from a real place, come from an honest place, come from a true place, like just really mean it, and you'll be surprised.
And that's another thing why we have to be conscious too when we're trying to be examples. I tell people all the time, listen, I used to say, don't watch me, don't pay attention to me, you need to be, but no, because if this is the life that I chose, then I am an example. I can't be one way out in the streets and then say, and then I'm screaming out hallelujah, everything else. God's not expecting me to be perfect, but if there's some things that I say that I'm going to get rid of in order to reach the point that He wants me to be and the pinnacle where He wants me to be, then that's important for me to change some of my ways.
Right.
And that's important. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of times I like to go out with my friends. Everybody like to go out with their friends. I said, saved don't mean that you can't have a good time, but you got to be cautious of what it is that you're doing. So if I'm proclaiming to be saved, and not only saved, now I'm saying I'm a minister, so now there's a title that goes with it, a part of the cloth. How am I out here can't be out at brunch doing all these twerking and tweaking and all this other stuff, being caught on video. I can't be out here rolling up and all this other stuff. That's not something I would ever really encounter with anyway. But it's like when you see things like that, it's like, so you're doing this and then you're doing that. You can't be double-minded. You can't have one foot in, one foot out. You can't portray, you know what I mean? It's like, it's faking the funk in a sense. And I'm just being real with that. Like, am I perfect? I'm not perfect. But at the same time, I'm like, I try to be a good person, and I try to illustrate a good example to where people will believe. It's a compliment when people see God on you, when they see the Christ through you. I was at work 2 weeks ago. This young lady, she's very rebellious, but we're working on it. And she was having a day. I walked in, I said good morning to her, and she walked over. She said, Christine, can you do me a favor and just pray for me?
Pray for me, yep.
I said, sure, no problem. She was like, I know that, you're a spiritual person. Aww. And my family's going through something right now. And just to have that relief and that release, I said, that's a compliment to know that I'm still worthy, that people still see something in me, that God didn't give up on me. I do have purpose. I messed up on a couple of things. It hasn't been easy, especially when I walked into ministry. I'm thinking I got it all together. I'm good. my life is together.
We're not perfect. We're human beings.
But I think
the
sometimes
whole
we
point
put
is
pressure.
to strive.
Yeah.
For me personally, the whole point of introducing us and teaching us about Jesus Christ, right? We're supposed to be Christ-like. You know the slogan, what would Jesus do?
Right.
We're supposed to have our thoughts go towards that way rather than to go anywhere else, you know, to stand by the commandments and do all these things. That's why when she brought up and said, you're a prophet of God, I'm like, oh, shoot. To me, like, that's
real.
like perfection to me. And I was...
Because
I didn't even go through nothing yet.
We hold religion and God as such a high regard because you know what it is? It's been embedded in us so at a young age that we take it serious.
Yes.
We understand this isn't a fly-by-night type of thing. This isn't something that it's a gimmick or anything. This is real. God is real. And when people say, oh, no, I don't believe, it's me self-manifesting and I create my own destiny. No, you don't, foolish person. You really don't. God is doing all of this.
No, you know what happened?
He's in control.
When I... Repeat that.
Control.
No, repeat.
He's in control.
Listen to me. One thing that I was really like focused on like the past couple months. I was like, I'm not in control. Like, I'm gonna tell you about this dream I had real quick. There was a dream that I had, and a lot of my dreams when God is speaking to me is extremely vivid, and I never forget them. I see it the same. So I'm in a car because I could feel it in the dream. I feel it. I'm in a car, and I'm at the wheel of the car. Like, but my eyes are shut. So immediately, I just personally think I'm blind pretty much. So I'm just like, I'm in the car in the dream, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm in a car. I'm in a moving car. I can't see anything. So at this point, like, just to touch on it, I just feel like I'm getting spiritually attacked again in my dream.
Right.
We ain't gonna go too much into that, but I just feel like I'm getting spiritually attacked. So I'm sitting there saying the 23rd Psalm. I'm sitting there, fighting against it, praying against it. You know what I'm saying? Like, get this off of me. Like, what is this? Like, open my eyes. So when I say the 23rd Psalm and I'm asking for Jesus to, to help me and saying what I need to say throughout that time, because in my specific dreams, it doesn't feel like a dream. It feels like it's real. It feels like,
you're experiencing it hands-on.
Yes, like it's not it's like it's
real.
it's very real. So I'm like, no, you gotta help me out. This I'm in a car, like I'm gonna cry. Like I'm thinking of certain things, so I'm like, get me out of this. Like something is closing my eyes. So guess what? After the prayer, they opened my eyes. My eyes was open, but guess what? I was blind. I opened my eyes and was still blind. But get this. So now when I'm blind, I'm like, hold on now. So I'm like, I just prayed this off, and then I'm blind now. So me being Roxanne, remember, I'm still thinking as me because it's still like a very real, like, reality kind of experience, even though it's a dream. So I'm like, all right, hold on, calm down. I'm like, wait. As I'm blind, like, just like right now, I know there's a light right there. But because my eyes are closed, but I know there's a light. I know there's darkness here, but I know where there's lights. Like, I could see certain things. So while you're blind, it's like you could picture certain things, and it was just so bright. There was such a bright light that it was like, even though my eyes are closed and I'm blind, I could kind of see through my eyelids type of thing. Like, I knew where the traffic light was. I knew where the where I was going to go straight, where I had to turn off. Long story short. So I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, when I start to realize how calm I was getting,
right,
and then I realized the fact that I'm not crashing. I didn't crash yet. This whole time I've been panicking, I didn't crash. Nothing happened to me bad. I understand where I'm going. I'm like, I feel the peace. I feel the calmness. I feel the faith. I'm like, I'm feeling all of this. I feel the love. I literally said, who's here?
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm trying to say? It's one of those dreams where I know I'm dreaming, but I know I'm in control of my dreams to an extent. So I'm like, who is here? You know what the voice next to me said? 2 words. I am. That voice, I'll never mistake.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
And guess who woke up? Me.
Yeah. My sheep will know my voice.
So I'm like, wait a minute. To me, when I woke up, I took that as when you don't know where you're going in life, Roxanne, when you feel confused, when you've probably, left the path that I probably put you on and you chose something else and you had your, no matter what, when you feel blind to where you're supposed to go, just know I am with you.
Always.
I am with you. I will guide you. I'll protect you. Acknowledge me. You will not crash. You will not this. You know how many times there was sometimes that I would fall asleep at the wheel?
Protection, angels encamped around you.
And how I would just wake up just in a nick of time. How I didn't drive off into the divide. I didn't hit the car in front of me. I didn't.
Protection.
Yes.
That's God.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's
Thank
God.
you, God.
Yeah, truly, that's God.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely. I remember being on a train one day. You say when God protects you. I'll never forget. I was on my way to Brooklyn. I was leaving out of the train station in Hempstead. Right? And I get to Jamaica, and this guy is sitting next to me. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really think too much of it. And he's trying to talk to me, but making me feel real uncomfortable. And I didn't want to speak to him. And I'll never forget. I was just like, you know what? I'm getting from my seat because we started to kind of bicker. Like, I'm not feeling you at all. This happened years ago. And I remember he put something on my side. I remember telling my aunt this story. He put something on my side, and I'm like, oh, my God, this man's about to stab me up.
Oh, like you felt something poke you?
Something poked me through his coat.
Ooh.
And the train conductor came over, the one, you know, they do the tickets and stuff, and she said, oh, tickets, and I'm looking at her like a deer in headlight, like, please save me. Somebody help me. And she's just looking at me like, is everything okay? And I'm giving her a look like, please.
Yeah,
lady,
like, no, like this the look.
Promise you. I closed my eyes and I just was like, Lord, please. Kid you not. Close my eyes. Maybe 2 stops later, that man was getting off the train. And I said, God is real. And after that, I said, I ain't going to Brooklyn no more. So it's a little different out there. But I say that to say.
You from Long Island?
Long Island.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
Where's your mom from?
She's from Long Island as well. My whole family from Long Island.
Okay, so you've been here all your life?
All my life.
When you go on vacations, where do you go?
Oh, boy.
You ever been out the country?
Of course.
Okay, tell me where you've been. Let's go.
To the Bahamas.
Okay.
I just went to, a couple of months back, I just went to Mexico. I just came from a vacation, but I mean, that's not out of the country, but I was just in Vegas. I like warm places, tropical places.
Of course.
Just peace of mind.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's peace. It's paradise, as they call it.
I know.
Born and raised.
Yes, like, I know, because when they was bothering me here with this like, literally, when I was watching COVID on TV, I kid you not, like, God is my witness, because you know God said you ain't supposed to swear. God is my witness, though. Like, it was making me sick to wake up and see, oh, COVID. It was just like a repeating cycle. It was just
COVID everything.
It was really making me sick, and I was so, like, listen, I don't know what it is about me or why I'm so just, like, unafraid and bold and just do it. I wasn't planning on coming back.
Listen, if I could escape, I
wasn't planning on coming back.
How long did you stay away?
There. 6 months.
Oh yeah, you did say that a long time.
6 months, and baby, I wasn't trying to come.
You shouldn't have came back. You should have called me. I would have went with you. I could have got up out of here too.
It was God, because had I never came back, this wouldn't be happening.
Listen, this is what's needed. A platform like this is definitely what's needed. Yeah, listen, this is part of your journey.
It is.
It really is.
It's just beginning.
But you know what's most important? Not even the guests that come on here, but it's your voice. This is part of your healing.
Aww. That's what it started off as. I literally, like I said, I was in Jamaica with the phone, and I'm just like, I'm just recording my life right now because I ain't trying to do the COVID thing. And if I'm not working right now, like, let me show y'all what's going on and how I'm living life right now. Like, because whatever. Like, I'm here in Jamaica. Like, so, I came back, and it was just like, you don't got to keep doing this off your phone. Like, we could just. So I started just coming here sometimes as a hobby.
Right.
Like, I'm bored. I want to talk. I want to record. I want to have fun. I'm ready for fun.
You got the personality for it for days and days. I told you, we were saying it before this started. I was like, oh, we were driving. I'm in the car with my honey, and I was like, that's Roxanne. And he's looking like, I said, I know, she animated. She just laughed, giggle, smile. She don't bother nobody. All she want to do is laugh, giggle, smile, and sing. Laugh, giggle, smile, sing.
Laugh, giggle, smile, sing.
And sing. That's your whole thing right there. And I said, but that's naturally just you. We would tease
Thank
him.
God she's really known me for like
No, for real.
before a teenager. I wasn't even a
Listen.
teenager yet when you met
You
me.
were a little girl. You had pigtails, baby.
Yes, I was
Big
still
pigtails.
young, so you know the real, true me, the
Yeah.
growth. Anyway, continue.
But no,
I'm
but
listening.
I look at it, even just watching some things in yours videos,
Uh-huh.
and we're laughing about the shoes, and I'm like, she don't even wear shoes. She wears sneakers. Like, since when does Roxanne wear shoes?
Well, she got on heels, yeah, girl.
Even the early 20s, y'all going to these little parties at Old Westbury and everything. It's sneakers.
baby, I was like, do we have to wear? I promise you, that's my first question. We gotta wear heels.
Why
How
y'all
we
wanna
gotta
wear
get dressed?
heels? And the heels, they
I mean,
hurt.
they sexy, they cute
For
and
who?
everything, but they hurt. I'm
Baby.
sorry, y'all.
You ever see an elephant trying to balance on 2 pencils?
It's gotta be that wide wedge, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I ain't no elephant.
Nah,
I'm
we
thick
got a
and fluffy,
little-
but good Lord. I'm fluffy.
There's things on us that gotta hold it up, and
Listen.
I need that big wedge. You know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say?
I'm a little fluffy. I said I can't be walking around on
These
these
little
tiny
kitty
pencils.
heels. What's this?
Yeah, because I said
Break.
I'm trying to lose the baby weight right now. Okay, I'm trying to lose the baby weight. The baby 14, but I'm still trying to lose the.
I'm trying to lose the baby weight that didn't even happen yet. Like,
Listen, that's just hunger. That's all that is.
No, I
But
am
nah,
hungry,
but
though.
listen, that's why I said it's dope when you get to like really
Thank
sit
you
down.
so much. Thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you. I salute you, queen. Like seriously, that's why I said I was anxious. It was funny because I said as much as I talk, and whether it be like a platform or like some type of forum, I actually just left a conference, an Operation Summit last week with my job, talking in front of people. There was like literally like 500 something people there, and then I'm coming over here. I'm like, this is you and I talking. I'm like,
Can I do
I'm
this?
a little nervous. Can I
Can
really
I do this?
And I'm
It's
like,
just me and you.
and then I'm like, she a little cuckoo, so I don't know what we gonna talk about. Because this is not, people, this is not scripted at all. Like,
Yeah,
this
and
is
it's
not
unedited.
scripted. And that's what I love about it, because it's
Shout out
just
to me.
candid, good conversation.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and the thing is with me, over these last couple of years, right, I had to do some real, like, evaluation of myself. Self-identity,
Yes.
who I am, who I want to be,
Mhm.
how I'm rediscovering myself. And this is the first time truly, and I'm being very open and transparent in my adult years, that I'm finally happy with me.
Oh my God. Can we pause on
Truly.
that? Can we just know? Can I just bask that in? Because
Truly.
I felt that. Like I felt it. Like sometimes when things happen, because I feel like I'm very much an empath. Like I'm very sensitive. Like I feel everything.
Oh, yes, you are.
So it's like when you, huh?
I forgot you were a crybaby.
Sure am. Like seriously.
Yeah.
So it's just like no, it's because I mean, but I realized that like from like 7 years old.
You got a
like,
good
I
heart.
knew it. Like I
Mhm.
knew it. Like I remember when the sun would be out in the summertime when I was a little girl. Oh my God, I would just stare at it in wonder. I remember when butterflies were everywhere. They're not everywhere like they used to be. Butterflies were everywhere, and the cat, like it was so many insects and just so much of God's creation and creatures just around me, and like lightning bugs that we used to catch. Like it was like I was in a magical kind of thing, and I was so in love with it, and I just was like in wonder and in awe, like who created this? Like
yeah.
7. You know what I'm
7
trying
years
to say?
old.
Yes. Like I vividly remember, because it was just like these things. Like when I used to walk, I used to be like, oh my God, I don't want to step on the ants.
You don't want to hurt them, right?
No, yeah. Like it was just
You be
a natural
scared.
thing. If there was a class pet for like there's a gerbil for our class pet and everything, and you get to take the pet home
Yeah.
during
The weekends.
yes,
and stuff,
or the
and
weekends, or
watch them.
the vacation time or whatever, and it would be
Oh,
Roxanne.
remember those big guinea pigs?
Yes, I had them.
Oh.
Listen, baby, I bought a little treat for the little guinea pig with the
Ooh.
tall little granola bar looking thing, and
What do they eat granola bars for?
it was some type.
Nah, you was feeding them something
But
different.
listen, all I'm trying to say is this: it's like, dang, the love of God is just such a powerful, amazing feeling. It like my natural personality, and the reason it's like this is because I'm so full of joy, because I'm really God's child. So I'm forever gonna be God's child. I'm forever gonna be happy and this, that, and third, because why? I'm God's child. I'm with the winner. I'm with the creator. I'm with the reason I'm gonna get to heaven. Like I'm with the savior. I'm with the, why wouldn't I be happy?
I
No
love
matter
your
what
zeal.
I go through.
I love your zeal. You could see that the love has been restored in your heart. No, truly. I mean, you've always loved God. You've always been a good person. That I know for myself. But you could really see when somebody has had their awakening, in a sense, and that zeal has come back. It's sad because, you know, it's funny. When I'm at work, sometimes we talk about how things have to be broken in order to be put back together again, right? Nobody likes to go through that process, though. but it's necessary. I said that's part of the story. I like to go off of this thing now that I'm trying to start. It's called Her Story, right? Not history. I'm trying to make her story.
Her story.
Her story. So
Right.
it's about healing, about evolving, and then releasing. And that's what's really important. And, you know, we all got different journeys. Everybody has a story to tell. Somebody's life may be worse than yours, whatever the case may be, depending on how you choose to measure it. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of how you taking those pieces to put them back together again, to make yourself whole again. What are you going to do to change your circumstances?
Right.
You can either bask in everything that's going on and just say, you know what, I'm just going to have a pity party and I'm just going to be complacent. I'm just going to deal with this and I want people to feel shame for me. No, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be a victim anymore.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. You have to decide when you're tired. And
Yeah,
sick
it's
and
like
tired.
I don't want this same story to keep repeating. I don't want to
it's
say the
getting
same
old.
thing. Or yeah, it's just like, what is this? Like, no, hold on, I'm not a victim anymore. That didn't like that already passed. That already happened. Like, let's
Yeah.
move forward. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get through this. Like, I'm gonna do this.
It was even to the point of romanticizing that if I'm somebody else, it never happened to me. That's crazy.
right.
But you have to live in your own truth. You have to deal with things that are going on with you. And that's why I said I want to make her story. I want to start over again and then let people know that you have the ability to start over again. I think that sometimes when devastating circumstances, so we think happens, it's like I can't pick up the pieces. I can never get back to myself. You go through depression. You go through her. You know us as women, especially
Right.
when we go through a heartache.
Right.
Lord, it is over. You don't want to talk to nobody. You don't want to hear from nobody unless that one person calls you. Then everything is right again.
You gonna have to come back for one of those conversation episodes, cause baby.
But it's the truth. Think about it. You've been so devastated by this individual, and as soon as they call, you're like, "Oh my God, I feel good again." And it's like,
so sad.
But you know what that is?
So sad.
think about
You
it.
gotta put God first, okay, y'all, and love yourself first, okay? Cause whoo.
But that goes back into soul ties. If you think about it too, you let somebody have that much control over you. I'm serious.
When
soul
I
ties
say
are real,
I've had to pray.
pray them off.
Deliver. Baptism couldn't even do it. I had to be delivered.
Yeah, from people. It's real.
No,
For,
for real.
yeah.
I ain't gonna get into that on here, but
Yeah,
I'm
we ain't gonna
dead.
talk about
No,
that.
I'm dead
Nah.
serious. Like deliverance, like hands laid, like spirit gone, like
Yeah.
for
Get up
real.
off of me.
It's not. It's
Those-
not a joke.
Listen, but that's why it's like one of those things when they truly say, well, not when they truly say, when God says that we need to be prayed up, you know, truly, because when we're not, we're leaving
he's
ourselves
coming
open
through like
and
a-
exposed. But that's his job.
Yeah.
That's his job. So that's
He
why
waiting for that moment.
all the time, any opportunity,
Yeah, he's like, let me see where I could squeeze in. Oh, she
Yeah.
got the door cracked on that one. Let me try that one.
she's
like,
weak right here.
She's weak right here, and he laughs at us when we're weak.
Oh, and he knows our wants too.
He knows.
That's why he wraps it up looking real nice and you're excited
Like,
about
ooh,
it.
you asked for this, right? You thought she was
Uh-huh.
slick. So this is what you asked for? I'm about to give it to you. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, wait a minute. I might have asked for this, but what is coming with it? Like,
Exactly.
Is this the real? Because we know the real. All right, let's
You'll be able to differentiate, but that's real. Like you have to be, and that's why I said whether it be relationship, whether it be friendships, even sometimes situationships, whatever people got going on, even family. You got to know when it's time to clean house.
discernment.
Truly use that spirit of
Discernment.
discernment. You ever been around somebody and all of a sudden it's like your whole spirit is disrupted out
you
of
asking?
nowhere?
Who you asking?
Out of nowhere.
Who are you asking?
I mean, come
Who
on.
are you asking?
But truly,
Way too sensitive.
I'm telling you, and it's like, woo, I don't even want to be a part of that. And it's not even
That's
because
me.
you're passing judgment, because if anything, I pray
No.
you get better.
Exactly.
But I
But
can't afford for that to
I don't
get
know how
on
to
me
handle this
either.
energy. Like,
Too big for me. And if
yeah.
I'm not in the right headspace, if I'm not connected like I'm supposed to be, if I'm not prayed up like I'm supposed to be, and not a lot of times I might just be outside of my realm. I'm like, I can't deal with that.
No.
That's bigger than me. But then at the same time, I got to understand, God equipped us for things like that, that we can go ahead and rebuke demons and they got to flee. That we can speak
Yes.
life into
Yes.
situations, that we have the power of life and death are within our tongues.
Yes.
So we control this now. He
That's
has
what
given
the-
us authority.
That's what the Reverend told me too. Because when she told me, you know, why not you and this, that, and the third,
Mhm.
she said to me, be careful. Like she said, be careful what you say unto people. She looked at me and she said that.
Sure
Reverend
better.
Thomas looked at me and said to me, be careful what you say unto people because it would become of them. You
True.
think I didn't? You think I forgot that?
Oh, man.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm very conscious of what
Put out
because
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I understand what it can do. Like
There's power in the tongue. And that's why they say the tongue also, it cuts sharp too.
no,
That's why
yeah,
you have to be
that's a problem.
a work
It could
in
get
progress.
there. It could get there. I'm not often like that. But when I am like that, I don't like it because it's just like, who is that? Like,
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
You
It
know
just
what
be
it-
feeling like so much guilt. I don't like the spirit of guilt.
But-
I hate it. Like, I
but
don't like it.
That's good. At least you're convicted.
Yes.
It's one thing. See, this is the problem I have sometimes where it's like you're so comfortable in your sin that correction sounds wrong. That's a problem. And I'll be honest, I'm guilty. Done
Right.
that.
I'll be like,
I didn't want to hear nothing that some people had to say about certain situations. And I'm like, man, nah, it's all right. And justify. And that's the worst. Now you're justifying why you're
what
doing
you
it.
did wrong.
Or you're looking at someone else and you're like, oh, well, you know, they saved and they did this. What that got to do with you? What does that have to do with you? Self-accountability. Because at the end of the day, when I leave this good earth, I'm hoping that I've done enough and done what I was supposed to do to where I'm going to make it in.
My good and faithful servant.
This, you don't get no buddy pass with this.
No,
I
it's
gotta walk with
nobody
my
else that's
own.
coming with you.
Not
It's
at all.
Nothing about what they did is going to be in front of you when it's time for you to be. Listen, I want to get into, clearly, like I said, inspiration, motivation. You're somebody to admire and to look up to, especially like the fact that, we grew up in church and now you're literally an evangelist. So, what I want to talk about is the deep conversation of the fact that you were married. And I know a lot of the times, like, we're not supposed to be divorced.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So speak on that because I don't want to tell your story. Just speak a little bit on the fact that, what it's like to be married and honestly ending up going through a divorce. Like,
it was different. It was something I wasn't necessarily prepared for. At that time, it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but it was necessary.
Because?
I think sometimes...
If it's the vows you took, what's up?
You know what it is, honestly? When we met and we were just like best friends. We were just real cool. And it was to the point, I remember teasing him because it was like 2.5 months into hanging out. And I'm like, are you ever going to ask me to be your girlfriend?
Oh.
Like, I feel like I'm more like your sister or one of the bros. And I'm
like I'm always here. I'm always around.
Yeah, like we cool. But I'm like, I want you to actually like me, like as a girl, see me as that. So then we finally connected and, we wound up having our daughter or whatever. That's my baby.
Yes.
And I thought that that's what was going to make the relationship whole
stronger
and make it stronger.
Yeah.
But sometimes that actually brings about more tension because I'm like, now we're two
it's not
people.
What you really truly wanted or something.
I always wanted to have a family.
Continue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. I always wanted to have a family. When I found out I was pregnant, I actually did it on a dare where it was just like, oh, I think I'm pregnant. I might as well just take a test and see what happens. And found out I was pregnant.
God.
It was, kid you not, I wouldn't have known nothing.
Oh my God.
But I'm like,
it was just like, wait, what?
Just playing
how
around.
many months?
Right. I was like, wait, what? Oh, I really am pregnant.
Oh.
And I was happy. I'm not going to lie. I was ecstatic. I was happy. I remember the next day running around the corner to my aunt's house because at that time, I moved. I was like 25, 26 or something. Yeah, I think 20. No, matter of fact, I'm lying. I was like 27. And I lived around the corner at that point.
Good.
Now. I mean, yeah, I guess whatever. I don't know. Listen, for me, kids wasn't in the plan, but I accept my blessing.
All right.
So, having her, and I was excited. I'm like, okay, we're doing this. We're becoming a family.
Right.
I got proposed to on Christmas
that
Day
is so
of that
beautiful.
year after I found out.
Oh, my God.
But you know what the thing is that if you're not, again, secure within yourself or you feel secure in your relationship, you begin to question it. So is there a motive behind this? Is it because I'm pregnant? So it was for years. That was something that stuck in the back of my mind. It just resonated as, did he really actually love me or did he just propose because of the baby? And that's always been something. While I know he's a caring person and loved me, for that time, it just stuck in the back of my mind. It was kind of like hard to let go. Like, what was really your reason? Even after getting engaged, we went through tough times and things, and I remember separating. And then we didn't get married until 4 years after the fact.
So did you actually when you had these thoughts, did you actually have the conversation or did you kind of just keep that to yourself?
We had the conversations, but the personality type that he had, it was more reserved. And me, I'm just very straightforward. So I kind of led the conversation. I asked the questions and kind of answered the questions at the same time too. And now looking back at it, I'm like, that wasn't very mature because you didn't give somebody an opportunity to really speak their piece or you didn't really give them a chance for you to work with them. But then it's like, okay, let's bring it back now. So then when we finally did get married, everything is good. You have a fairy tale wedding.
Right.
You're feeling good. You got 95,000 bridesmaids and groomsmen because I had a big wedding party at that time. And I'm like, this is everything I wanted. So I thought, but I felt like it was one of those things where I'm like, were we sure about it?
Mm-hmm.
While I was sure that I cared for him at that time and loved him at that time, I'm being honest,
Right, of course.
it just wasn't like, it was some type of uncertainty. We had a great relationship as far as like that deep friendship, but then I'm like, is that enough? And I felt like we wasn't happy because of whether it be living situations where we were at that time, or trying to raise a child and maneuvering through life and still kind of being young, you know, in a sense. And it was just like, it was becoming too hard, and one person may not always hold their weight. It wasn't the 50-50. Sometimes it was the 80-20, but then it might have became a little too frequent, and you're just like, I'm not really happy, but I'm still doing it because I believe in fighting. I don't believe in getting up,
Right.
giving up on people. I
Right.
believe that, you know, I care about this person. So it was almost like at times feeling
Go
guilty,
through whatever, yeah.
but feeling guilty too, because I'm like, well, if I'm not there, or if we don't stay together, what is he gonna do?
Do you feel like that was the enemy at that point? Like, what do you feel that like that actually was? Because sometimes I be feeling like, listen, we already know the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy.
Especially
Like
families.
sometimes those thoughts that you're thinking, like your thoughts,
Mhm.
sometimes you're actually listening,
Yeah.
unknown to you. You're
Mhm.
actually listening to what's being whispered in your ear and going with those thoughts. Like,
Right.
have you ever looked at it in that sense to where it was like, dang, like, you know, have you ever felt a guilt about it where did you feel like that was the enemy that got in between your marriage because that's what he comes to try to do to people?
Mhm.
Or do you feel like truly, honestly, like, you know, this was a lesson, something you needed to learn, something you needed to go through and, you know, get back?
It was
like,
my lesson and my blessing.
there we go.
I'll
Okay.
say that he's to this day, he's one of my good friends. We remain friends. He's a dope person, a wonderful father.
That's your family, girl.
that's
That's,
my-
your family.
listen,
that's your family.
Regardless of
Yeah,
what, we're
that's
gonna
your
always be
fa-
connected
yes,
because
that's your
you know we have a
family.
child together, and then it's important that even when going through that hard process, that we preserved our friendship, so we can always be good to one another while raising our daughter. That doesn't mean romantically I ever want to be with him. There's no slim chance ever going to happen again.
Right.
I'm very happy where I'm at right now. I'm
Yeah.
renewed. I'm happy. I have new love. I'm happy about that. Yeah.
Shout out to New Love.
Shout out to my
Shout out
honey.
to New Love. Like, I love that.
Because it's years that done passed, but I'm grateful for the, you know, to have experienced that. And
Mhm.
honestly, people are like, would you ever get married again? I'm like, yeah, I would do it again because I believe in the institution of marriage.
You did that Ciara prayer?
Listen, I don't know what she
What,
prayed.
what you did? How
I
you?
don't want her prayer because she keep popping out with babies every time she pray, and I don't want that.
Because
many.
she want her family.
God bless her. I'm not in that
She-
financial lane just yet. I'm gonna let her do what she do. I'm gonna say Christine's prayer. We're gonna keep it short, but it's all good. Like, listen, I told him we both made mistakes.
Right.
You know, we both made mistakes. Could we have done better in a lot of areas? Yes, but I think it was kind of like a little too late.
Did
by
you
that
give
time.
yourself grace? Did you heal from it? Or
I did. But I went through. It was bad. Like, it's kind of like mourning a death, if that makes
of
sense.
course.
I mourned it.
Yes.
Like, wow, this is coming
It's
to an
hard.
end. And it was hard. And what people don't realize, I think, let me not say people, because women will get me on this one. You will understand. You could be in a relationship with somebody for years. It could be 10, 12, 15, 20 years.
Right.
But you'll get up to that. If it's 20 years, you'll be at that 11th year mark and you're like, I'm just tired. I can't do this no more. 12th year, it feels worse. And then it keeps intensifying. And people don't realize that mentally, emotionally, you've already, in a sense, checked out.
Yeah.
when
you're
you
already
finally-
going for it. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just like you just didn't. I can only speak for me. I didn't have the courage to actually say it, to verbalize it and say, I can't do this anymore.
Aw.
You know, and it's like, I wasn't happy anymore. And the hardest thing was to actually say to somebody that I loved so much at one point that I'm not in love with you anymore. That hurts.
Yeah, that is hard.
Because you
got
to be mindful too. Whether you going through all these emotions or not, you have to be mindful that it's not just you that was in a relationship. There's two people that play a part in this. So you need to be sensitive to that other person's feelings.
You got to be mature.
You do.
You have to be really mature. If you're going to put yourself in a relationship, like, all right, yeah, you can get in relationships when you're young and you're not gonna be mature. You learn, you know, your maturity comes with growth and everything like that and
Absolutely.
experiences. But to really be in a relationship where you really feel like you're the type of person that really wants to take things all the way to, you know, wherever it goes to, like, you know what I'm saying? You want to see each other grow old together. You want to be the grandparents together. It's whatever your vision is. Like, I think for real, it's like, people who get into relationships, if you're not in it for the long run, what is it? What is it really about? Are you trauma bonding? Like, do you just need company?
That's a good one. I like that. And you know what's so funny? I said that to him, and I think he admittedly agrees. Maybe he doesn't, but I think he does. We stay together out of survival, also.
Survival mode.
Survival, like,
Yeah, like it's us. Like we help each other. We going through this together.
exactly.
Like this is just what we're gonna do.
And even to the point where it's like I don't even know if we just live together or if we just roommates at this point. Like,
Aw.
but it's good now that you can have those type of conversations. It's
Right.
important that you do
Healthy
healthy conversations where you're not just attacking one another, but you're actually getting your truth out and
Yeah.
speaking about things that are uncomfortable. And what I like is the fact that it wasn't an easy decision. I think for so long I didn't want to say those words and say I want a divorce is because I thought about the perception. You know, again, like you said, growing up in church, knowing, you know, marriage and union and what it means and all those
Exactly.
things. So it's like to divorce, it's like, my goodness, what in the world happened? It's a lot of things that might have happened through our relationship, but it was just hard because it was like, I have to keep up the facade for my family. I have to keep up the
Wow.
facade for my friends because people expect us. I remember going places and people say, oh, y'all are a really dope couple. And I'm like, y'all don't even understand. I don't even know if we're happy with each other. But what they'd see is a couple, but they're not realizing it's just a couple of friends.
Yeah, I
A couple
get
of
you.
friends that just get along really good and know how to put on face when we're out and about. So it's just like, but that's not enough. You
Right.
know, we deserve to both be happy. I want him to have his best chance in life, and I want him to also respectfully allow me to have my best chance at life. And that's a good thing because we do wish one another well. We stay in communication with each other, again, for the sake of our child.
Right.
But, you know, he's a good person. And I told him, I wish you the best. But also at the same time, I'm not going to lie, I'm happy that I found happiness, that I was able to take the time that I needed. Like I said, it felt like more than a death. It was something that I lost, and I just couldn't understand, like, how did it get to this point? It hurt. It was, like, devastating at first. I remember
I'm sure that was a really hard decision to end it.
horrible decision. Like, it's not, I'm not gonna say it was a horrible decision. It felt horrible because it wasn't a horrible decision. I had to do what I needed to do. It just didn't feel good while dealing with it in the moment. I remember when it first happened, within the first 2 or 3 weeks, calling my aunt. I was working overnights at the hospital. It's 3:00 in the morning. I'm waking my aunt up while in Virginia crying. Like, I just don't understand. My whole family's falling apart. And I'm just like, this can't be life. But then I had to realize, you're better than this. You deserve more. You deserve happiness. If you're not being fulfilled in certain areas of life, it's okay. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. It's okay to want more for yourself. You shouldn't have to stay complacent just because it pleases somebody else. I'm not going to always do what's going to make other people comfortable, but I have to do what's going to serve me, what's going to make me a better individual. So after I finally realized that, I'm like, no, it's time for Christine to build back up who she was. Girl, it's time for you to go ahead and start feeling good again. Start getting dressed again. Start being social again. I felt like a caged bird. I'm too free of a spirit to be a caged
Right.
bird.
Oh my God.
I'm like, listen, I'm a
free
Libra.
spirit.
I'm not big in the zodiacs, but I'm a Libra. We're very happy social people. So I'm like, you know, nothing for nothing. I don't want to be confined.
Y'all are balanced though.
Whew, sometimes.
Oh God.
What are we, the scales of justice and all these different things? We are,
yeah.
you know what it is? I think we're a lot about principle. Everything with me is about principle, and I say be fair. And like you said, just having empathy for people and kindness. I'm like, I don't like seeing people get wrong. You know what I mean?
To me,
I don't
I like to try to treat people the way I would want to be treated.
Exactly.
You know, like,
And
that's really my thing.
I think that oftentimes when people say, you know, Christine, you're a nice person, you're caring and stuff like that, because I know what it felt like not to be loved, not just in relationships, just in life, just
Period.
not feeling good enough,
Yes.
not feeling loved, not feeling accepted, feeling odd and peculiar, or just always wanting to be a people pleaser. That's one thing I said. In my adult life now, I'm not doing that anymore. You don't like it? I
like
don't know
been
what to
there,
tell you.
done
Been there,
that.
done that. And a lot of times I did a lot of things to appease people and make them happy, putting them before me, putting their
course.
wants, their needs, down to the point I remember there was times I'm sacrificing money, time, energy, and everything. And
I've
I'm
been
like,
there too.
come on. Like, and you look sometimes and you're like, what am I getting from this?
Because that's what I feel like. That's what they taught us. That's what they instilled in us. That's what we learned. And that's why when we, after coming from the church and being grown up in that, and we go out into the world, that's not like that.
Because people take advantage.
They take advantage of our kindness, of our love, of our general. All right, listen.
You know, my slogan is save don't mean soft, okay?
Y'all
Y'all not gonna run all over me.
Anyway.
Speak up for yourself.
So you definitely gonna have to come back.
Definitely.
Because our conversation is too deep. It goes way beyond. Like, we would need a whole. Listen, it's this is just a scratch of the surface. Like,
a little snippet.
listen.
Nah, but this is a
But
dope
before we
opportunity.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I love you.
Wow.
Thank you.
So before we wrap it up, I just want to check, is there anything that you wanted to say? Any message that you wanted to get out there, that you didn't have a chance to say?
I think honestly
please
you
speak
covered
on
it
it.
all. I'll be honest with
Aw.
you. One thing I will always say, I say it to you, I say it to myself, I remind myself, is that I'd rather be hated for who I am
Hmm.
than to be loved for something that I'm not.
Hmm.
Just be you. Authentically
Yes.
you, living your truth, living your
Yes.
happiness. Don't, no matter what the situation is, I don't care what it is, don't let go of God.
Yeah, don't.
Don't walk away.
Don't.
It's always okay. God spoke to me. You asked when did God speak to me recently. I was away from my church, our church,
Our church.
for a year
Yes.
because of everything I was going through and just feeling like I can't do this no more. I finally went back December 31st, New Year's Eve, on that morning. And it made me happy because God spoke and he said, go home. I toyed back and forth with it. One thing I tell people is that you never ever leave a pastor that loves you for a pastor that you like. Go where you're celebrated. Go where you are
It's
loved.
true.
Stay in good company.
Yes.
Stay around love.
Yes.
Be authentically you. Be
Yes.
happy. Just be happy.
Shout out to Enoch too.
But I love you. Thank you.
I love you too,
This is
Christine.
great. I gotta come back. Invite me back
Yay!
again.
Of course you're invited back. Are you crazy?
Invite me
Like,
back.
you're definitely invited back. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for coming out
Thank
and
you.
having this real, very, vulnerable, deep conversation, and a conversation that's not usually had. Like, I really appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate your time, your energy, and all your love that you've been giving me ever since I was like 11. Like,
That's what's so dope about our relationship. I said, because you people, if they don't see it, they don't believe it type of thing. That's the day and age that we're in. They don't even understand how many times we speak behind the scenes for years.
there's somebody who literally, I had a guest that literally was like, oh, do you say this about everybody? Is this, that? I'm like, this is my real personality. This is really me.
This
Don't
is really
play with
you.
me. Tell them.
This is really her. Which camera? I don't know. This is her.
Like, I ain't changed yet.
Nah, this is her.
Thank you.
Mwah. Besos. I love you, baby.
I love you guys. I love you. I
love
love
you.
you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Another great episode. And you're definitely going to see her again because we got a lot to cover. But, time's up.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.